Hey guys, it's Zetas here, Steven, and
Back again at the Real Manhunt.
here today is our second round table. Not much of a table here unless you count this desk.
It's more of a discussion, but yeah, we can say it on the table.
maybe we'll get more guys in for later videos, but for now you're stuck with just the two of us. Last video we talked about Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. We're gonna do a quick. Today we're gonna be talking about we went to see Deadpool. It was on Monday. I think we did
Monday we did.
Yeah. So we're gonna be talking about our impressions. We're not gonna spoil anything. We're just gonna give our impressions. Not gonna spoil anything.
No spoilers, but it's been out for a while at this point. So
yeah, but no spoilers. So if you want spoilers, find someone else. We're not here to give you spoilers.
Yeah, just impressions.
After that, we're going to talk about the Kingdom Hearts 3 premiere event. We want to talk about Kingdom Hearts 3. The big premiere event and everything that went with it. And our impressions of that. Again, no spoilers for any of the cutscenes, which we have. We have them. They're all on YouTube as well, but we do have a copy of them. We saw them. And we're going to talk about that too. And then for the bulk of the video, we're going to be talking about E3 as it's coming up. We're approaching very close. Today's the 1st, so we got 8 days before the start. So why don't we get into? All right. So why don't you start with the updates on Pokemon?
Right, updates on Pokemon. What we didn't discuss last time. So initially it was translated wrong that there would be no online features for the game. Right. That was wrong.
Right, there is online.
There is online features. They're not the same online features that would be in the usual mainline games, because this is not a usual mainline game, as it's only going to have the original 151 plus Alola forms. They're not going to really have anything like Wonder Trade, because it sort of defeats the purpose, especially with everybody having Pokemon Go. You can get your decks from there. So having GTS, Wonder Trade, that kind of stuff is probably not going to be there. Also, it's going to be tied into the Switch online, so it's probably not going to be anything essential to the games, because it's going to be a pay per month.
It's not really for hardcore players.
Right.
But the most important thing that was announced in that conference is the true next gen.
Right.
Is coming out the later half of.
Next year's fourth quarter, so
probably
November.
Just like we thought, this is it's like a testing ground.
Yeah, it's pretty much it's a remake / sequel of Yellow, but it's also things that they've been wanting to do for a while and maybe couldn't fit onto the 3DS, like Pokemon Following You and all those other things. So it's a good way for them to test the capabilities of the Switch without devoting themselves to a completely new gen up front. We all have that to look forward to.
Which I'm glad, because I wanted them to put as much time as possible into the new big gen. So
It would have been. I mean, I guess it would have been the same as between Gen 6 and 7, but it still felt really short. So I'm glad that we have this sort of to tide us over, because I feel like they could release, we have that one unconfirmed Pokemon that you can kind of bring over to Go, which is, I think they also confirmed that to be a Gen 8 Pokemon.
You can't transfer.
You can't transfer back to Go except for that one. There's that one Pokemon.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's going to be a Gen 8 Pokemon. Everything else, once you transfer, I don't think it's going to be a transfer so much as almost similar to something like the Pokemon Stadium games. You kind of put the data onto the park in Let's Go, and then it's there for you to utilize. But I don't think they come off of your Go.
Right.
As that's the way it seems anyway. What else? Games out in November. Pre-orders have started to go up. I'm waiting for a bundle with the Pokeball Plus. I feel like that's going to happen.
I think you're probably just going to wait for like a Switch that has a color scheme. Assuming
yes,
they're gonna do that.
They probably will do that. I don't know that it's worth all the extra money they charge for it. Because I bought a Pokemon branded 3DS that I've played once. And it cost me like $400.
Yeah.
So, no, I would, but I will wait for the bundle so that we can get both games and the Pokeball Plus. The problem is that one of us is going to then need another Pokeball Plus if they want the Pokeball Plus. But
yeah, and we're gonna for the few of you watching this, I mean, I don't know where we're gonna be at by the time that comes out, but we are gonna try and figure out how to stream that as a 2-player. We'll probably do your game.
Yeah, that'd
be I
cool.
prefer like a single. So we could probably I could probably be the second player. I'm not sure. I'm
cool.
not sure if you can carry over
carry over your saves.
If like your thing you go into or if it's just like a second player.
That's the one thing we don't know.
That's what I don't know. That I'm interested. That's what I'm interested to see from E3. We're gonna get to that later. So why don't we go right? Why don't we like to talk a little bit more about Pokemon? Why don't we save that for later? Now, let's go right into Deadpool 2. All right, so I'm gonna go first. So to get to the point, amazing. It was great. It was great. I loved it. I loved the first Deadpool. We went to the. We can give you a bit of an idea where we are. We went to the Alpine Theater. Cheap theater.
Your discount local theater.
Yeah, so it was pretty empty, but that was because we didn't go to the premiere. We went like a couple of weeks later.
Yeah, when did it come out?
We went this Monday.
It wasn't a couple. It was.
There were a few people in there, but it was like we had it was not packed. It was like barely a fifth of the theater was even filled.
Yeah, it was.
So
it was, you know.
Yeah, but there were. I guess I'm gonna say the one thing I found interesting about the movie, was it as good as the first one? I would say so. But I also think it had like its different strengths and weaknesses compared to the first one. In the first Deadpool, just so you can give you a bit of an idea without spoiling anything. The first Deadpool's the main focus. Like he's stealing the show throughout his first movie. This one, there's more focus on other characters.
Yeah.
Cable. What's the
Cable
name?
has a lot of focus.
What's the name of the kid with the fire hands?
Fire Fist, I think.
Yeah. And the one who has with the luck.
Domino.
Yep. Yeah, they all
got some decent.
There were some really good jokes. When in the mansion.
Yeah.
There was that one. I'm not gonna spoil what it is because it was that funny.
Yeah. There were some good
jokes in that part. But I think from every part of the movie, when like he's assembling the team, this is it's like at some points it's tame in a good in like a structured way, but other times it can go from being as tame as what you'd expect to being as off the wall as something from like an Austin Powers movie. It can get that ridiculous and that absurd.
It went above and beyond what the first one did.
There's never any point because the first Deadpool it was like staying consistently like we don't care about the main plot, we're just being as ridiculous as possible. No, there's a plot here. There is kind of what you'd expect from one of the X-Men movies. There is a serious storyline going on,
right.
And it's kind of Deadpool in the middle of it.
Right. Which should.
Which is that's like it's a. No, go ahead.
No, should we get another Deadpool? By the time it would theoretically be under Disney.
Yeah.
Even though Comcast is fighting.
I don't think Comcast is going to win.
No, I think actually I just saw that Disney was ready to put another bid in.
Yeah, Disney's going to win.
You don't.
And I don't think that's going to affect the rating because
No, they said they were recently. They said they were open to doing R rating.
So don't worry about that.
Disney has done R rating movies in the past, just not as Disney. They've done it as Miramax. So
right, and this would be like a branch kind of thing.
Right.
So they would still have the Fox logo.
Correct. It's not like It's not like Fox.
It's not gonna be like Disney presents the Merc with the Mouth.
Right.
They're gonna have the Fox studio is still going to exist.
It's just that
Disney's going to own it.
Right.
And then maybe Deadpool can appear in other... Because remember, Deadpool can appear in other movies. I thought I heard something about there being an X-Force movie.
They might try to make an X-Force movie.
Yeah, and, instead of Deadpool, being, the folk... Because Ryan Reynolds did say he didn't want to make a third one, but I think he could be joking. Or, on the other hand, instead of, maybe if Deadpool doesn't have... I think what this movie really proved, and I was really glad to see, is that you don't need Deadpool to be the focus at all times.
Right.
So, if you do... if there are future films where Deadpool is just part of the cast, he's one of the characters, and he'll, that means he'll... you have, more serious characters, and you'll have him, being that one ridiculous character who just doesn't care about the situation.
Being Deadpool.
He'll be like the Yakko Warner, not caring about the situation,
right?
Just doing whatever he feels like.
I thought it was really good. I think there were some things I liked better than the first, and there were some things that I didn't like better than the first. I thought the first, for me, I don't know. It was really good. And I think in as far as cinematically, I thought it was a better movie than the first one. I thought it was watching it, it's a better movie than the first one. Which the first one was great, but there were it's
the first one had to go through the backstory. This one didn't have to do that.
Right. And this felt more seamless as a story. It really felt like you were in the story, even though a lot of the time you're getting, fourth wall breaks and stuff like that, but that's the territory.
Well, if anything, fourth wall breaks make you feel more immersed.
Right, exactly. So I really enjoyed it. I thought everybody in the cast was really, really good. Josh Brolin is having some summer. Let me tell you. First Thanos, now Cable. Really crazy.
Yeah, he made a great Cable.
Yeah, he was really good.
The first time I didn't get the game myself, but the first time I actually encountered the character Cable was in the Deadpool, was when I was watching scenes from the Deadpool game. I forget who was voiced by, but yeah, he made this guy he was a great Cable. He has he just Cable is that real that dark character, and from what I've seen, there's a really cool, really entertaining duality between Deadpool's ridiculousness and Cable's level-headed realism. So so just the two of them clash really well, and
yeah.
they create.
They did that good in the movie too.
Yeah,
I thought Domino was really well done. It's really tough to show her powers in effect.
Yeah, but her powers are luck.
Because I know. I forget where you are. I'm not going to spoil it, but there's a character. I mean, you might already know. There's a character on the Flash in the past season, also from DC Comics, whose powers are luck based, and it's really tough to show that on.
Oh yeah, I remember. I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough to show that on.
Isn't that one? That was that one episode.
Well, yeah, she comes back though.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying.
I haven't seen that one.
So. It's tough to show, and I thought they did a really good job of making it cinematic. Because it could easily be kind of boring. It's different reading it on the comic page because it's the same with fighting. You don't have to actually show the fighting. Your imagination is showing the fighting. So that on seeing it as a still image is different than having to translate it into the screen. I thought it was really, really cool. There was a bunch of cool surprises too.
Yeah, the biggest surprise, and there's a joke at the beginning of the movie, but the biggest surprise with a specific character.
Yeah. Who
appeared? All I'll say is he appeared in a previous. I forget how many of them, but he's been in the previous X-Men films. Looks much better than before.
Yep.
And was a big surprise.
Yep. They tease it at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, I'm
and I was trying to figure.
Who's this?
Right, and I was going through all the characters that Fox has the rights to.
I think and the thing that made it like the best was like Deadpool's reaction to the reveal of who it was.
Yeah. It's very well done. The movie's very entertaining. I almost feel like this movie was cleaner. Like not in the, like as far as like not as far as language, but as far as what they showed. I mean, there's really violent things happening. That the whole sequence in the beginning is incredibly violent.
Yeah.
But after that, I felt like the movie was more looking to show.
But I think that's because, like, as the film goes on, it's more about people with some sort of enhancement or powers. It's not like at the beginning, it's just Deadpool like killing a bunch of normal guys with guns, and that's not the rest of the film.
So I thought
that's
it did.
Pretty much why.
I thought it did a really good job being a tight movie. Like it felt really watchable.
One more thing I want to talk about with that. This is something I was watching. I didn't watch this. I mean, I did because I watched it after we saw the film. Angry Joe brought this. This was in their review of their impressions of the movie, and one interesting thing that was talked about there was that I forget if it was there for. I think it was from that video where, and I agree with this. There was no in the first movie. You didn't know like who the villain, like you know like who the main villain was, but you don't know like who are these guys part of?
Yeah.
Like are they supposed to be like Hydra? In this movie, there's no single clear villain. It's kind of like it's more. I guess the best way to describe it is like a power struggle.
Yeah.
So there's no clear single villain.
I think
just kind of the situation keeps changing.
I think both of those are a case of them not being able to touch other things in the Marvel universe,
right.
Because, and also probably Fox not wanting them to touch X-Men, because the whole first Deadpool, that the story that they go with, the story that how they change the character, because he's very close to the comics, but he's not exactly like the comics. That whole thing is because that they really couldn't utilize.
Yeah, they had to change something.
So they changed some stuff. And then the same with this. If this was attached to the Marvel universe, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you would have probably had a little bit of a different movie. Because there would have been...
But the last thing we're talking about, there is... I mean, it's not like at the end of, but after like the movie during there's
a mid credits.
There's no after credits, but there's a mid credits.
There's two. There's like 2 or 3 scenes that are in the mid credits.
I'll say only this: it's even more ridiculous than the Ferris Bueller's Day Off thing.
It was pretty ridiculous.
Unbelievable.
It was ridiculous.
Wait till you see. I think that's the thing. That was like. Yeah, that's how you end that for me. That was...
I think if Ryan Reynolds has said anything, even jokingly, about not wanting to make a third one, I think the reason for that is because this feels pretty complete. Like, sometimes some new movies get sequels, and the second one doesn't really feel like it completes the story at all. Like, you feel like you need a third one. I would love a third Deadpool. If we didn't get a third Deadpool, if Deadpool just showed up in other movies, I think I'd be okay with that. Because I feel like this really makes his character complete. He's got to start middle. He's got a beginning, middle, and end in this movie, and I appreciated that. But it makes a lot of money for Fox. I feel like it's the one X-Men movie that they even have any idea. I mean, I don't think anybody can dispute that Wolverine, Hugh Jackman as Wolverine was, everybody likes Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, regardless of how close he is to the character.
I mean, they find a way to do Wolverine versus Deadpool.
Right, people show up to do it.
Yeah, that would make money.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm very interested to see what happens with Fox and the X-Men stuff. Actually, funny enough, when we were watching the movie, one of the trailers was for the New Mutants, which originally, before the buyout stuff happened, was supposed to come out this April.
Right.
It did not come out this April, to my knowledge. I believe it got delayed till next year. and along with Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting because the buyout's going to happen.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm sure the buyout's going to have a significant impact on how that's going to work.
Well, yeah, but those movies are made already, right? So like you can't.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about like after that, like how
and it's not like they're going to cancel them because there's no monetary gain in canceling them. The movie's already made, so they're going to show them, and they're either going to how and I have no idea how they would do this, but you're either going to see somebody trying an attempt to bring the current X-Men universe into the Marvel universe, maybe doing a multiverse thing would be that, or reboot it.
Yeah, maybe like where you say like, oh well, X-Men has like 2 timelines.
X-Men has a lot of timelines. That's the problem.
But maybe maybe like it could be like another book. Maybe like the Marvel, the Marvel timeline is after the reset. Maybe you could do something like that.
I think, yeah.
That's the only way to do it without doing a multiverse.
Well, I think I never saw the last X-Men, but that was supposed to be in the 80s, I think. So they're not really caught up to present time yet. The only thing is that mutants haven't been mentioned once in the cinematic universe. So if they're gonna do something like that, I feel like it would be easier for them to do a multiverse thing.
Yeah.
Just because you could then get the characters in that you want, without having to really worry about it. Yeah. Deadpool, I feel like we see so little of the X-Men that are actually in that universe.
Well, you're saying about Deadpool and in terms of like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, this is from the comics. I don't know what they're gonna do.
Right.
But Deadpool has the teleportation Infinity Stone.
Oh, that's true.
He gets it in the comics, so
yeah, they could definitely do something like that. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of.
I guess it's like entrusted. I forget how. I don't.
There's a lot of.
I'm not a comic guy, so
yeah,
all I know is that he has that.
I read a scant few comics and.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they could do a lot of things. There's a lot of possibilities. So we'll see. But it was a great movie.
Yeah, great movie.
It was a great movie. If you haven't seen it,
go see it. You still can.
Yeah.
And then if you miss your opportunity, you're gonna wait till the Blu-ray comes out.
Right.
All right. So let's move on to the Kingdom Hearts 3 premiere. Here we go. My God. So I'm gonna go first. So yeah, we did not go. We didn't. There's no way for us to get invited.
No.
But footage. Oh my god. And then GameSpot, whoever it was stupid enough to put the cutscenes up. Now they're just up.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened.
Because they're idiots. That's why. But that's why. But we they're up on YouTube anyway. But we do have a copy of them.
I think somebody just accidentally.
Yeah, they weren't really supposed to.
They put the wrong video.
But, I don't feel bad about seeing those cutscenes because the people there got to see them.
No, I don't feel bad about it.
So I don't feel bad about it. But
obviously,
they shouldn't have done that.
I watched.
And there's still parts that.
Yeah.
We didn't see.
Pretty much, I don't think anybody was allowed to film.
They're allowed to film their
fight.
Gameplay.
Right.
Aside from the boss fight.
Right. Even though I've seen somebody snap the picture of the boss, and.
Yeah, there's.
God, it's terrifying. I've never been more scared of a Kingdom Hearts boss in my life. It's terrifying.
Yeah. So every aspect of. But we're not going to talk about the cutscenes if you don't want to see that. So we're just going to focus on the game, our impressions of the gameplay, and it was amazing. So there were 2 demos, one for Olympus and the other for Toy Story. The Olympus was short, and the Toy Story was where the most of the premiere event lied in terms of the gameplay. It was about they said 30%.
Right, the Toy Story was 30%
in terms of like, and I'm assuming it's not necessarily. I would guess that's both in that's mainly in content, but it's also somewhat in size. and boy the world is massive.
Big.
It's gigantic.
Big.
There is a transition between the Andy's house and the street and there,
Yeah.
but that's the only one, pretty
Right.
much.
So
So,
once you go
they
into
did
an
say there wouldn't be transitions, but there are, but they're much fewer than in the other games.
Yeah.
Whereas like every little area so there's probably gonna be small like linear areas, and then there's gonna be like the big maps. I think
Right.
Olympus should. I know Olympus is gonna be Mount Olympus, Thebes, and the god and where the gods live. So
Well, it's Thebes. It's
Mount
the
Olympus.
area where the Rock Titan is.
Yeah, that's Mount Olympus itself, and then there's
But then there's the top of Mount Olympus.
right. That's
like
the realm of the gods. So
Oh.
those are probably like 3 maps, but they're all big.
Yeah.
So there are gonna be different maps. There are gonna be different areas, but they're just gonna be big areas.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be less transitions.
It looks so fun.
But in terms of the gameplay, the gameplay. So we've seen in previous trailers the Keyblade transformations. The thing that like was the fact that you can equip up to 3, and you swap in between them.
That was pretty cool.
And you can store up the Keyblade transformations, so you can store up all like the finishers and like go to town on enemies and bosses.
Right.
So I guarantee you, any secret bosses, there's gonna be a lot of strategy in how to go about like those post game.
Yeah.
There's gonna be post game bosses, so that's probably gonna have a big part in.
I imagine you're gonna be able to, for different bosses, figure out how to get
Well, in terms of like the Keyblades, it's
on your.
well, I
on
would
your
rather
person.
like the ultimate weapon. You get that like there has to be some. I want something that there is to do, because with Dream Drop Distance 30, that game, to get the ultimate weapon, you had to beat Julius, and that was like the secret boss. So if you beat the secret boss,
I never did that. Now that I think about it,
pretty much break it apart with Balloonga, but if you don't get hit, but. You get the ultimate weapon from doing that, and then Birth by Sleep, you had to complete the Mirage Arena. But when you do that, then there's nothing left to use the ultimate weapon on. But in Kingdom Hearts 2, you would get the ultimate weapon normally before, like most people normally it's unlike Kingdom Hearts 1. You can get it. It's very possible to get the ultimate weapon before you even beat the game. Then you have like the post game to use it for.
Questing for that in 2 is a lot
and
of
it's
fun.
useful because like it increases the amount of time that it speeds up your MP restoration.
Right, it does.
So I want Kingdom Hearts 3's ultimate weapon to have use in the post game. So yeah, but so in terms swapping.
Sorry, I worked all day.
So in terms of the Keyblade. And now the transformations, it's nice and seamless. You have the situation commands. Now I have seen that there are situation commands that just kind of it seems very random, but I think, and that was one of the main things that people have been talking about. Whether HMK, Skywing, Cynical, the Kingdom Hearts YouTubers. If you're looking for analysis, that's not us. Go to them for that.
Check out their
We're
videos.
just giving our basic impressions based on what we've seen. But yeah, I have seen when you're running up the wall, the side movements are pretty jagged.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's that. But I want people to understand. She's like, "Oh my God, everyone's giving all these complaints. It's gonna make Square Enix delay it." No, pretty much everything that's been complained about, or not really complained. They're more criticisms, constructive criticism. That's what they are.
Yeah.
All those things that have been, all the critiques that have been given, all of those are minor fixes. They're adjustments that are pretty much already within the game's programming and functionality. They just have to tweak it to make it work that way.
And they were
the only big thing that actually raised a red flag for me, which was also addressed for pretty much everyone. The summons, I mean, like they don't really do a lot of damage. They're okay in terms of damage. The problem with the summons, and this is my biggest gripe from everything I've seen. Everything else is pretty much fine, but the summons require full MP. The MP does not, unlike limits or summon, the MP does not recharge until the summon is done, or you cancel it out. So the MP's not recharging. It requires all your MP. And while you're using the summon, at least what it looks like with Wreck-It Ralph and Ralph and Ariel, you take a ridiculous amount of damage. And keep in mind, unless you cancel it out, but when you cancel it out, that's when it starts recharging. So you can't heal yourself, and you better have the Gigas were doing heavy damage to Sora. This is on Proud mode. I'm worried because every other the attraction flow, Keyless transformation, regular combat, all fine, all perfectly fine. This is a problem because it doesn't have the right. It's not value. It doesn't justify its value. You're wasting all your MP. You have to have full MP. It drains all your MP. MP doesn't recharge until after it's finished, and you take a ridiculous amount of damage. What you stand to lose more than you gain from using the summons, at least from what we've seen. That's the biggest thing they need to fix. That's the biggest thing they need to fix, because Kingdom Hearts 2 has it so that everything option you choose for combat is the right choice. Bloody Biscuit brings up that point where everything you choose in Kingdom Hearts 2, every option for combat, is a correct choice. Here, everything but this is a correct choice, and I want to make sure that and hopefully they'll tweak that so it's more of a viable option.
I think they probably put Wreck-It Ralph in pretty late in the decision, it feels like.
Well, it happened with Ariel too. The problem is there's really no invincibility frames, which should be there.
I don't know I think I'm okay with you.
I mean, if they did a ridiculous amount of damage, then I could understand why the MP bar doesn't recharge if they're really powerful, but they don't seem
I'm okay with you being hit as long as it doesn't stop your combo.
Right,
but
summons. If the damage would, you don't necessarily need invincibility frames as long as if they have it where your damage is greatly decreased while you're using it, but you take a ridiculous amount of damage for things like Gigas.
What's the ability?
I mean,
that
I think really when it comes to Gigas, I think because when you look, there are Gigas in the background just standing there on the floors. So I think you're really, in terms of fighting the Gigas, particularly on higher difficulties, you're intended to find a Gigas to fight the one Gigas.
Yeah, which is why
that's the intended. But that doesn't mean the summons should not have invincibility frames and be functioning as an optimal option. Because then, on prouder difficulty mode, in Kingdom Hearts 2, I played on proud mode, right, for the first time. I found limits much more useful because of all they had invincibility frame. The MP bar would recharge. It was early game. That was the thing to do. It had use, arguably probably more than drive forms, honestly. So I think they need to make sure I think that's the biggest thing. Everything else are very easy fixes. This requires a little bit of touching up.
Yeah, I feel like they were probably.
And I think I think that's
do that anyway.
That's part of the reason they pretty much did this, because they want to get feedback. They want to make sure they cover all their bases. So
I do think though that the builds of the game that they got to play were pretty. I don't want to say last minute, but I think because we were told that one of the summons in Kingdom Hearts 3 was going to get a world on Union Cross, and they were going to show what that was at a trailer next month. And it's looking like it was Ralph, and that Wreck-It Ralph was going to be a world in Union Cross.
Right.
So I think they probably, for whatever reason, maybe because they wanted more than one summon, or more than two summons, because you got Meow in there too. Maybe they just wanted to show the range of stuff that they had to work with, and they kind of just put it in there. And
it's probably not even the most recent build of the game they had at that point.
Probably not. Just probably the one that was ready to be utilized.
But make no mistake, a lot of people are like, oh, well, even no matter what you say, they may not even listen to you. Square Enix might not listen to us. Or anyone on YouTube. Not only are you wrong, but Square Enix said, but Tetsuya Nomura, Tai Usui, they said they listened to Kingdom Hearts, not us, because they said they listen to Kingdom Hearts YouTubers all the time. They watch their videos and they love them. Not us, because we have, like, this is like the start of us doing stuff, but they listen, they take the feedback of people on YouTube and all over very seriously. Like, they put it into serious consideration. The biggest evidence is the Kingdom Hearts 2.5 Collector's Edition. That only exists because all the fans spoke out and had the hashtag movement Square Be Fair. So instead of just a pin, we got a Heartless plushie on top of that, a steel book, an art book, and a nice big box for it to all go in. That only exists because the fans wanted it. They wanted fairness outside of Japan. So, yes, Square, at least when it comes to Kingdom Hearts 3, I can't necessarily, I mean, like, Final Fantasy, like, Final Fantasy's still getting, like, DLC stuff, but when it comes to Kingdom Hearts, Square takes the feedback seriously. I can at least tell you that much. I guarantee you, they've been taking notes of everything. That's how in-depth they are. These are the people that have as long development as possible to polish their games. So I am confident that every negative thing talked about by all the Kingdom Hearts YouTubers and everyone else is going to be addressed without any issue.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess from what I saw, maybe just because I'm a big Kingdom Hearts fan, but maybe because I'm a casual gamer, and really,
yeah, I'm the Kingdom Hearts fan. He's the Pokemon fan.
Right. And I mean, I love Kingdom Hearts. I love playing Kingdom Hearts. I
was always watching him play 1 and 2 before I played them myself.
Right, that's true. I didn't see anything and again, I'm not playing them, so.
Yeah, you can. Like, we can't have anywhere as near clear understanding as
right.
people play.
But from what because I've watched a couple people play it, and nothing stood out to me as anything egregiously offensive when compared to other Kingdom Hearts games.
Yeah.
So, not that that's an excuse for things to not be as good as they can be, but I didn't see anything that.
But you can tell this game's almost ready.
Yeah. No, the game's going to be out this year. There's no doubt about.
Yeah, they wouldn't have had. I really hope they do more events like this because I like how, not even just with Kingdom Hearts, but like their games in general. I want them to do like events like this.
Yeah, they've been pretty good with that. Final Fantasy.
Actually, I'll actually talk about them when we get to. We're actually going to come up to talking about E3 right now. But before we do that, the game's looking great. We're going to talk a little bit more about it because we're going to have a big E3 discussion starting in a few minutes. But yeah, the gameplay, the voice acting.
Voice acting is on point.
Is superb. Rex and Tam, it's the voice actors for them.
Yep.
Buzz and Woody are not, but I hear some people think Woody doesn't sound like. No, that sounds like Tom Hanks. It's not, but it sounds like Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
And I couldn't even believe that wasn't.
Yeah.
Whoever's
doing
Buzz Lightyear is unbelievable.
Is great. I would like to know who. I mean, I
couldn't even believe that wasn't Tim Allen.
We got the announcement of who's doing Mike and Sully, and it's not.
Yeah. The one who's voicing Mike has done some stuff, and he voiced him in Disney Infinity.
Right.
The one who's voicing Sully's only done like a couple of things.
So usually, the way it works is if Disney has a voice actor hired for a role, they usually do everything within that same contract. So I'm curious to see who's doing Woody's voice. I want to see.
Yeah, that's weird. It's weird because in that like press for the premium event, they said who Mike and Sully's voice actors were, but I don't think they said.
They didn't say who.
That's which is weird. Which is weird. I'm guessing whoever's like who's like Tom Hanks' brother.
I believe Jim Hanks.
Jim Hanks. That's probably who's voicing Woody.
I would say so, just because.
That's
he
like,
usually does.
Like he's the one who voices Woody in video games.
Yeah.
So that's probably
and non-main.
And then other people were saying that
TV specials.
which this would make sense. Who's the one who's voicing Buzz Lightyear is the one who voiced Buzz Lightyear in Buzz Lightyear Star Command.
That doesn't sound like him though. That's Patrick Warburton.
Right.
That's
so. It's not Tim Allen, but it sounds like Tim Allen. So we'll see who.
That's Joe in Family Guy. Is who voiced him in Buzz Lightyear.
So we don't know who that is, but
it could be him. He could just be doing a very, very close impression. Because if you watch him in Star Command, he sounds similar enough to Tim Allen.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like Joe Swanson. He sounds like
right. So it could be him. They could have just
that's
told him
pretty much his natural voice.
Right.
But,
they could have told him to just kind of keep it close.
But but the cutscene direction.
Yeah, the game looks beautiful. The cutscenes are beautiful. Kingdom Hearts.
We both come a long way from not really knowing how to beat Dark Side at the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 1, right?
Yeah.
We both used to suck at Kingdom Hearts.
Man.
Oh my god. I wasn't it wasn't until I was 14 that I could play through Birth by Sleep, which is the first Kingdom Hearts game I really went through on beginner mode. And now I play it on proud mode, and it's easily breakable, which I now realize. So now it's a very it was a very different experience. I was struggling on beginner mode when I was 14. Now I beat it on proud mode by literally breaking it because it's really easy to break, especially with shot locks.
I love shot locks.
Yeah, which are in Kingdom Hearts 3, and they look great. But they're more of like a precious resource, which is very good. They're powerful, but they're a precious resource because Cynical said they're hard to. It's hard to replenish, so it's something you have to.
Or your focus game.
Have to be very cost effective with.
Makes sense.
It looks like balancing is a very big thing, and I can't wait to see how the mechanics work with that.
I like that everything is everything that we have played.
Every component.
Every component that you've played is in the game if you choose to use it. If you don't want to use it, you don't have to.
You just want normal combat, put the Kingdom Key on, use second form, and have a ball. This game you're gonna play game's designed to match a variety of different play styles. I'm gonna be the one who tries every single little thing and go nuts with it.
I'm using different keyblades. I'm using everything. I don't care. I'll shot lock the whole game. I don't care.
Well, it's probably gonna be harder than Birth by Sleep to do that because apparently.
Yeah, but anytime a triangle comes up, I'm gonna be pressing it. I don't care. It looks really good.
All right, so we're gonna. I'd love to talk. I could talk about Kingdom Hearts 3 all day, but let's get into. And we're gonna talk a little bit more about that in a little bit, but yeah, let's get right into E3. So we're gonna talk about each of the. We're gonna be streaming 7 conferences. We're gonna be streaming EA, Microsoft, Bethesda, Square Enix, Ubisoft, and Sony, right? And Nintendo. So that's 7 conferences. There is a couple of more, but they're not really. There's the PC gaming show, but you remember that PC gaming show where it was just a bunch of people talking on a stage?
PC, oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. We're not doing that. No. We're not doing that. Doesn't even count as a conference. We're only streaming. I'm only streaming EA because I know chances are EA is going to be an absolute joke.
What does EA even have coming out?
I mean, well, there are 2. They have Battlefield 5.
Oh yeah, people buy that.
And the Anthem with the armored suits.
That's right.
So they do have 2 AAAs. If it's not the disaster of last year, do you remember EA's 2017?
Yeah.
Where these 2 idiot guys, let's play some football, and these 2 idiots come out on stage.
That was good. Yeah. Wait, EA does who does the soccer games? That EA?
Yeah, the FIFA.
FIFA. That's EA.
All sport, like FIFA and Madden. That's EA.
That's really all they're good at. But they're really good.
These are the guys who bought Maxis, shut them down. They're the reason that we'll never have a sport team.
FIFA's a great game. EA needs to make a football game that's not a Madden game.
Yeah, and they need to not focus too much on the sports, because, a campaign mode. Wow, it's not like that should be a bare minimum requirement or anything. So, I'm not saying don't have any sports, but don't waste so much time on it. For the love of God, EA, don't put those 2 idiots on stage.
We have Anthem, we have Battlefield 5. And
yep.
Those are
the only 2 confirmed.
Yep, and they're coming out for PC, PS4, Xbox One. So fairly typical.
But we're both agreed. EA for the most there's a very good chance, just like last year, it's gonna be an off. It's not gonna be great.
All I want is just to see more snowboarding. That's what I want.
Okay. I think it's gonna be. I think
we're gonna get snowboarding
at the best. At the best, it's gonna be mediocre. There's a very good chance that.
Listen, it could. I think they should.
I mean, you never know.
Yeah, maybe.
You never know.
I would like to see them just stick to a trailer. Just do a trailer.
Just show trailers. Don't waste time with.
Show a trailer.
Don't have two idiots acting like they know how to be in an E3 conference.
I think this
don't waste time on drummer boys.
I think this goes for everybody. Actually, I feel like.
But EA does is the worst.
Yeah, EA does the worst.
They're
but
the
I feel
worst.
like
and they don't like to play by the rules. They're part of E3 because they're one day before Microsoft and everyone else. But they're not. They don't do on the show floor.
Right.
I think by streaming that, it's gonna be more fun rather than boring. Otherwise, it would just be a boring thing to watch without streaming it.
So
we're gonna we'll talk about Microsoft.
We're jumping around here. That's fine.
Well, I'm going in order by.
Oh, you're going in day order.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have Microsoft Studios has is this one game? Forza Horizon 4?
Yeah.
What is that?
It's racing. It's their racing game.
Oh, good.
Sorry. They haven't. This entire generation, they've not delivered.
I'm sorry, racing games?
Last year, I don't know if you saw it. Last year, they wasted 5 minutes showing off a car after showing off Forza. They had an actual car on stage, and they took time showing it off at a gaming conference. I'm like, are you freaking serious? And then the worst thing, there were some good things, but the worst thing, you know, Conker, the squirrel.
Yes.
They had this game, Super Lucky's Tale, and for a second, right before the trailer started, you saw it scurrying above the street, and it looked like Conker, and then it wasn't. I'm like, did no one in the marketing team see the problem here? But that's all they have confirmed.
That's all they have confirmed. So
well,
who knows?
They need to pull a Sony last generation. They got to come out. They have to finish this generation strong, because they have not delivered. Sea of Thieves did not come out. Crackdown 3 still hasn't even come out, and we don't know what's going on with that.
Sea of Thieves didn't come out yet?
No, it came out, it was not. It was a bland.
But wasn't there another pirate game at the same time that came out?
I don't know.
Or is coming out? The Sea of Thieves the super deformed one?
The one from Rare.
That's the super deformed one.
Yeah. There's another
pirate game that looks kind of cool. That's what?
We're going to get to Ubisoft.
Oh, that's Ubisoft. Okay. That one I'm excited for.
Yeah. I think it's Skull and Bones, something like that?
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to get to that in a second. So, Microsoft doesn't have enough revealed yet. So let's go to Bethesda. Bethesda just announced Fallout 76.
Fallout 76.
That's going to be big. That's going to be one of the big focus of their conference. I wonder if we'll get if they'll finally show an Elder Scrolls 6, because they've been riding the Skyrim wave for a while now.
Right. Well, it says Elder Scrolls Legends.
Elder Scrolls Legends? I'm not sure if that's
it says PC mobile, so it's not a mainline game.
It's a mobile game.
Fallout 76. I think Fallout 76 is going to be the main.
That's going to be the main thing, definitely.
And then Rage 2.
Yeah, Rage 2.
That would have some.
I've been seeing teasers for that on YouTube, so that's.
I would say Fallout 76 is going to be the main thing, unless they reveal something else as a surprise.
Yeah,
which is possible.
Well, last year, they didn't really have their conference was nah. It was just it was cool to see the developers there being interviewed, but that was what most of the conference was. It was showing their developers being interviewed.
Right.
So
which.
I mean, that's not really something for a conference. That's cool to see, but not for an E3 conference.
Yeah.
So let's see how they improve. If they focused on the quality of specific titles, which other conferences are doing, I think they'll have a good conference. All right. So next is, of course, here we go. Square Enix.
The big boys.
Yep. We're going to the big stuff.
Let's see. Well, obviously,
Kingdom Hearts 3. Yep. That's gonna be the biggest part of the conference. That's their big thing.
Their baby.
They're probably gonna save that they're probably going to do the other little stuff first. Then that's going to have an entire big section.
Even though Shadow of the Tomb Raider is...
Yeah, that's a big thing, too. I think that's how they're going to start the conference.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider start...
And here's the thing, it's like Nintendo, it's going to be a video presentation, so it's not going to be a press conference, it's going to be a video presentation. But I think Shadow of the Tomb Raider, that's how they're going to open it.
I would say that probably the reason they're doing that is because any press conference stuff, they might save for the PlayStation press conference.
I think this is... Well, I think it's definite that whenever Square... The last time Square had their conference was in 2015, it had a huge effect on Sony's conference, because really, the only purpose the only reason Square had their own conference was because they were showing a Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer. Pretty much, that was the reason. And that's essentially the same thing. We don't know about Final Fantasy VII Remake. We've been hearing back and forth. We don't know if they're going to show that. But I'm not sure, but we'll see. I think they've got a good few things to show. There's Kingdom Hearts 3, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, maybe Final Fantasy VII Remake. There's also World Ends With You Remix. Though I'm not sure if that's going to be that or Nintendo. There's Octopath Traveler, which comes out in July, so next month. So they'll probably show a lot. They'll show a good bit of that. And they'll probably be a teaser for the Marvel game. Or they'll finally show us what that Marvel game is going to be like.
The Avengers Project?
Yeah, the Avengers Project.
Yeah.
I guarantee. That might actually be how they close it.
Yeah.
So they'll have they'll have Tomb Raider, all that stuff, then a big section for Kingdom Hearts 3 with all this big stuff.
Yeah.
Then they'll end it with a teaser. I think that's how it's going to go. Alright, and now next is Ubisoft.
Ooh.
The winners of last year's E3.
Yeah, they rocked E3.
They were amazing last year.
They got some stuff coming out, man.
Yeah.
Look at Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Which
big.
That's confirmed, so that's great.
That's big. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I mean, Assassin's Creed is Assassin's Creed.
It's called Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Odyssey, yeah.
Do you think it's... some people are hoping it's Japan.
I would love for it to be Japan. I might actually play seriously.
It's Odyssey, right?
Odyssey would be Greek, if anything.
Oh, that's what some people think is Greek. Okay. Well, I'm sure Greek would be cool.
But, just... the word is Greek. It doesn't mean that the game is Greek. But...
Unless they want to, copy Mario and, you go around the world.
That would be cool, too.
Why not?
Odyssey just means a journey, so it doesn't mean... For Honor, I feel like I've seen the trailer for that. What is that? Is it a
I think that
game?
was the... Yeah, I think with the... I think there was, remember the 3 factions, whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all those games are mainline. Skull and Bones.
Yep. That's the pirate game.
That looked good. It looked like it could potentially be a little buggy.
Well, we'll see.
But
Ubisoft is loving their pirate stuff. Surprised they didn't just buy Rare themselves and try to do something more with whatever. They like more realistic pirate games anyway. One thing I want to say, as much as I would love it to be there, and I'm sure there is going to be one. There's going to be a third one, I'm sure. Do not expect to see the third South Park game. I don't think we're going to see it just yet.
Yeah.
I'm expecting that. I'll start expecting that to be at E3 next year. Because I don't think they want to show anything about it yet.
Yeah.
Because remember, Fractured But Whole got delayed.
Right.
So they if they hadn't shown,
I could see them announcing it.
Maybe.
Just saying, hey,
I'm just saying,
we're working on it.
Yeah, I'm just saying, don't expect it to be there. Expect that more likely next year. Yeah, so they have a lot of good stuff to show even without that. Maybe a Mario and Rabbids sequel or something else related to Nintendo because they've been getting a really good relationship. So we could maybe see some people were saying maybe something with Rayman. I'm not sure.
Rayman would be nice.
Yeah, Rayman 6. That's what some people are saying. So, yeah. All right. So Sony pretty much.
Did we get back? Are we on Sony? We went past Ubisoft.
We're on Ubisoft.
I'm saying we're on Ubisoft.
Is there anything else?
Yeah, there's a lot. That's what I'm saying. Starlink Battle for Atlas. I don't know what it is. Is that?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
It sounds like a. Let me see what this is.
Oh wait, is that the thing where you like build the blocks?
I think that is the thing where you build the toys. Remember that?
Yeah, with the spaceships.
That look cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not something
Yeah,
I would really.
I don't know that I would pay.
I mean, like Lego Dimensions, that was an exception because.
Yeah.
Like of
the same kind of idea, though. I mean,
but it's just with spaceships.
Yeah.
And no characters.
That's gonna sell to some people.
I mean, give it a chance, definitely.
Tom Clancy's The Division 2. All those Tom Clancy games have an audience, so
they do. I didn't Tom the first one was pretty it was pretty. There's literal division. It was pretty divisive.
Yeah, but they sell.
But,
it depends on the gameplay.
If it's good,
they're essentially James Bond games. Really, I mean, like story mode James Bond with better graphics.
It's good that they have a lot of stuff to show.
Yeah, and then they have one more which doesn't have a link to it, so I don't know what it is. It's called Transference. You know what that is?
I don't. Yeah, I don't know what that is yet.
And all those that we mentioned are mainline games, so that's not even including anything that they might have.
Unless their show is just AAA titles.
Could be. If they were going to do something South Park, maybe they could do another mobile game.
Yeah, considering how amazing their conference was last year, I would not be surprised if it's just bam, bam, bam.
Yeah, their conference was great.
It was great last year.
Right.
It'd be pretty hard to top. All right, so Sony.
Was that Sony we went to?
Yeah, Sony's next.
Sony has also a lot of good things.
Yep. They said what their show's going to be.
Yeah. Spider-Man is in there, obviously, because it's coming out in September.
Right, so they're going to have a big thing for that.
Last of Us Part 2 is going to be big. People love that.
Yep.
Ghost of Tsushima, is that the samurai game?
That's the samurai game.
That looks great.
Yeah.
Death Stranding, everyone knows that, the Kojima game.
We'll probably
even though we don't know what it is.
We're probably going to finally see gameplay.
I don't know what that game's about. It just looks creepy.
Is it a horror game? Is it an action survival game?
You know what would be amazing? If it's not a horror game at all. If it's not even an action, if it's all the trailers are just lies. That'd be amazing.
I wouldn't put it
past
him.
I would love if it was just an RPG.
It might be.
Yeah, of some kind. And then Dreams. What the hell is Dreams?
That's the thing where you make those different things.
Yeah. That looks cool. I mean, here's the thing. There's so many games coming out. If this was back in the 90s when I was really, really, I'm a selective gamer right now. If it was back in the time where I was just buying games left and right, when the PlayStation was first out, a lot of these games I'd probably be buying if they weren't $85 million each. Because a lot of them seem cool, but they also seem like things that I would maybe play 3 times and then that's it. The games that I really buy now are games that I know I'm going to play a lot. Like Pokemon.
We're RPGs.
I'm RPG, definitely. I'm JRPG. fan.
I'm more action RPGs.
So Kingdom Hearts is a good
crossover. Not to say I'm not good at JRPGs with turn-based.
Kingdom Hearts is a good halfway point that we can bond on because it's both an action RPG and a JRPG. But I like those games because you can put a lot of time into them. And you really
I like games with heavy time. There are games that maybe they're shorter, but I prefer long investment games. Games I can really get in depth with. Is that everything from Sony?
Sorry, I'm getting distracted. There's too many things going on. No. So Ghost of Tsushima Dreams, yes. But there's also the possibility of one other game showing.
Yes, I feel like it would be weird for them to just tell us everything they were showing. There's got to be at least one big surprise.
Yeah, and we all know what it's probably going to be. I could see it being a couple of things. So I think they have to mention Final Fantasy VII.
That could either be Square Enix or maybe Sony wants.
Sony had it last time. I guess
here's the thing.
Have it
because Square's going first on that day. So, because last time it was the other way around. Square was on the same day as Nintendo. I think it was after Nintendo on the same. Yeah, it was actually. So it was last. It was the last conference. and Sony wanted the Final Fantasy VII trailer in 2015. They wanted it that year, so Square let them. But then they also showed the trailer again.
Right.
So yeah, but this time Square Enix is going first. So I'm not sure if Sony will ask to do the same thing again.
And Square doesn't have nearly as many things.
But if Square's conference if their presentation's crowded, they'll say, okay, you could show it at your conference.
Right.
I could see that happening.
Right, but what I'm saying is, from what I'm looking at right now, just time wise, because all the Sony things are AAA platforms.
AAA titles.
That's crowded, and Square Enix only has 2 AAA titles at this point that they're going to show off.
Possibly 3.
Possibly 3, right? So
the Avengers.
The Avengers game. Avengers. So I could see them plugging in like a 7Ts into there too. Maybe even a Final Fantasy game we don't know yet, because there's got to be.
Some people think maybe 16.
I think it might be too soon for 16.
Yeah,
because we haven't even really.
I feel like 16 is gonna be like in the next gen.
I think 16 will be the next gen, which is crazy to think about, but I think we might.
I think we're still like 2 years off at least.
Yeah, I think we need another Final Fantasy game that isn't 16.
Other people saying maybe like a World of Final Fantasy sequel, which I still need to finish.
That would be cool. Or something like.
Or
they're not making.
Or they could for the heck of it, they could announce another remake. Maybe remake 6 or 8 or 9. True. Remake 9, if you would like. I'd like a 9 remake.
Yeah, I didn't even get through 9. I have to really push through that.
Yeah.
It's a great game, just a lot. Mm-hmm. No, I could see them announcing something Final Fantasy related. Maybe a World of Final Fantasy would be good, I think. Because that game is Final Fantasy in nature, but it's easier to...
It's Final Fantasy fan service.
Right, exactly. So I can see
I don't see why they couldn't do that again.
I can see them doing that. Okay, that's it for Sony. So who we got next?
Nintendo.
Yay old Nintendo.
So now we can... so Pokemon...
Where are they? There we go. Yeah, so Pokemon... This obviously hasn't been updated since... Pokemon Let's Go got announced, because there's no way they're not going to at least mention Let's Go.
They're probably going to have a bigger, unless that is the trailer. But I feel like they would have to have stuff.
That might be the trailer, because I feel like there's not a whole lot.
But one thing that's certain, Metroid Prime 4 is going to be the big thing.
Yeah, they'll probably tease that definitely.
And maybe I can't say for sure, but they may announce a Breath of the Wild sequel.
Possibly.
They might want to make it a Majora's Mask equivalent. They may have been working on it, so using the same engine.
Then we have 2 really big games, Super Smash Brothers, come on.
Of course. That's the big game, but Metroid Prime 4.
And then Splatoon 2, which...
Yes, that new thing in there.
I'm not a Splatoon guy, but I know that it's popular. And I'm excited to play as the Inklings in Smash Brothers.
There's probably going to be a good few surprises in there, definitely.
Sorry, I'm very distracted. It's been a long day, people.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Who's your next? Well, no, there's a lot of things that Nintendo could show, because they have all those third-party ports coming out.
It's. Like, there's all, like, the leaks. We keep getting different kinds of leaks, so who knows?
Right. Does The World Ends With You get shown at Square Enix? Or
that's
Nintendo?
What I was saying before. It's hard to say. That's why I said before, Square Enix having a presentation greatly impacts how E3 is going to play out.
How about this? Throw another thing in there for you. What if we get an announcement of an original Switch game from Square Enix?
We already have that.
Well, what is that? No, I mean
that's Octopath Traveler.
Oh, is that?
It's
on Switch?
It's exclusive.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's nowhere near out of the question.
That makes sense. But I could see them announcing another exclusive.
I think it's an exclusive. It's definitely a timed exclusive, but I think it's just an exclusive.
Who's next, my friend? Who's next after Nintendo?
That's it. The last one.
Oh, there's more on here.
Yeah.
There's a little. I guess they're not AAA titles.
Yeah, there's like a little. There's something.
There's
like a Sam something.
Let me just go through the just what could be big. Activision has Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Call of Duty games always sell.
Right.
So, Sega has Team Sonic Racing.
Yep.
Which got leaked on Walmart.
Yeah, so the
good stuff. That'll sell.
Nice going, Walmart. Thanks for ruining stuff for us.
That'll go well.
Thank you, Walmart. You suck.
They might have another Sonic thing to announce too. Sega.
A Sonic Mania. I mean, they've done a Sonic Mania Plus, so hearing like 3D Sonic, 2D Sonic, give us a good Sonic game.
Right. I would just like him to be announced for Smash Brothers again.
Well, he's been in it before.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But
we're not sure. I'm not sure if it's going to be the port of Smash 4. Some people want that not to be.
I don't think it's a port.
But either way, I want Cloud to be in it again.
Yeah.
Because they know plenty of people missed out, and it wouldn't be. And I think they'd want to still cash in on Cloud.
I don't think it's a direct. If it's a port, it's not a.
If Sora is in Smash, then then I could play as Sora, you could play as Cloud, and we could have a Sora versus Cloud. So yes, please.
Right.
They're having like there's the Nintendo Treehouse. I think I mean, we could see Pokemon could be at the Treehouse.
The Treehouse is supposed to be 3DS only, but that was said before it was announced. So
right, but I also know there's gonna have like a big Smash tournament.
Yeah, there's a Smash tournament. So Smash Brothers is Nintendo's. Even going with Pokemon Let's Go, Smash Brothers is going to be the.
That's going to be the title for this.
I could see them announcing.
You'll have
Eevee for Smash Brothers.
Yeah, I can see that. You'll have Smash as like the big title, Pokemon as like the other title. Then next year you're gonna have, because I'm pretty sure Metroid Prime 4 is gonna be next year.
Next year's gonna be Metroid Prime.
I think they're gonna announce a Metroid Prime Trilogy HD collection.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, that would make sense.
Because Shenmue's doing an HD of 1 and 2, so I think it would make sense for the Metroid Prime
Trilogy. I could see them
that.
doing that. Let's see, Pokemon comes out in November.
Because there's no reason for them not to.
Right, Pokemon comes out in November.
To like finally have, I never played them, but to finally have those in HD.
Did we get a confirmation that Spyro is on the Switch as well?
That was in one of the leaks.
That was in one of the leaks.
So it's possible. We don't know.
If Spyro,
but Crash is coming to the Switch. Right. So there's no reason Spyro wouldn't be.
Right. I could see them.
Another rumor that came out recently is that Dragon Ball FighterZ is coming to the Switch.
I feel like that's more than a rumor. I feel like I've seen that as a thing that is very likely.
That's happening because it's a 2D fighting game. Of course, that's going to be on the Switch.
You
can get that version of it. It'd be perfect.
Capcom has Mega Man 11 coming out. That'll be big for some people.
Yep.
And another Monster Hunters. Another Monster Hunters? Is that the Monster Hunters that we teased already? Monster Hunters Generation Ultimate?
I think so.
Because that's for the Switch.
It's not the one on the PS4. The Switch can't handle that.
Right. Anything else? Just sticking. Remedy Entertainment has something it's called Project 7. And that's just the working title. So that's interesting to me just because I like mystery titles. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I think we got
things that are announced.
So I'm gonna this is the last thing we'll do. We'll both do a work thing. I'm gonna arrange the conferences in the order I think they're gonna rank from lowest to highest. And we'll see how that compares. So I think at the bottom we're gonna have EA. That's what I think is gonna be at the bottom.
Just because, look.
That's what I think. Yeah,
give me a football game that's not Madden, and then
give me a football game that you've actually put development time into, and
Because I hate Madden. I'm sorry, John Madden. Have you ever played a Madden football game?
I think
it's awful. It's awful.
I think it was. We hated it so much. There was another football game we had. We played that instead.
It's NFL Fever. NFL Fever for Xbox is maybe the best football game ever created.
On the original Xbox.
Yeah. NFL Fever
that was a great game.
NFL Fever was great.
That was a good.
Any iteration of NFL Fever is great. The only Madden game I think that I ever enjoyed was the one. It wasn't even a Madden game. It was the college. It's NCAA football, I think is what it's called, but it's the one where you play as the mascots. That's amazing.
But the only other reason it's not just necessarily because EA is going to just be bad, but because you have to consider Microsoft. It's hard. We don't know, but we also do know little. So EA has so much to compete with.
Yeah.
And if it's not the worst, it's going to be close to the bottom.
It would be mediocre at best. Yeah. I think they would just.
So I think from worst to best, it's going to be EA, Microsoft, Bethesda. I think maybe Ubisoft.
I think Ubisoft, Nintendo, and Square are going to be facing off.
Them and Sony, they're going to be those four are going to be.
Well, Sony's going to depend on the stuff that Sony's presenting is cool, but also we know a lot of it.
I'll put Sony below those three because Sony is. We know what to expect. The other three we don't.
And unless they just blow us out of the water, pretty much, I'll say this: if Sony has a Final Fantasy VII trailer that shows a polished Final Fantasy VII game,
I hope that the redesign isn't too weird.
I think the reason they had to redesign is the same reason that.
I want Cloud to still look like Cloud.
Oh, he will, but he's gonna. I would imagine he's gonna look sharper.
Do you think when they say redesign, do they mean redesign the look, or do you mean redesign the clothes? I hope it's the look and not the clothes.
I think it's the look. The clothes.
Yeah, well, I keep thinking, little things giving Barrett sunglasses, that's fine.
I think they just because didn't the same thing that happened to... Was Final Fantasy VII always on Unreal Engine 4, or did they have to move there the same way Kingdom Hearts?
It was always on Unreal Engine 4. Kingdom Hearts was moved.
It was moved. Okay, so I don't know. I don't know why they would have to redesign character models.
Well, they fired... Well, the third... whatever team... the third party, whatever team...
That was working on it, they fired them?
They fired them.
But don't they own the assets?
I think, but that's just what worries me, because... obviously, they're gonna get it out, but I'm just that was a real setback. Kingdom Hearts 3 having to move an engine, that was a bit of a setback, but no, not like this.
For all the flack that, and all the memes that Kingdom Hearts got, honestly, I was never worried about Kingdom Hearts 3 releasing.
People keep Kingdom Hearts 3 has been in development for 10 years, like Final Fantasy 15. No, it hasn't been.
No, it's...
They didn't start development until 2013.
Right.
Maybe in 2012, but that would have been the conceptual stage, right after the Dream Drop Distance came out. Yeah. Maybe. But I'm pretty sure, but it would have only started in 2000, the development itself would have only started in 2013.
And considering what happened to them?
And people keep saying, it's delayed. No. The thing that happened in 2014 with the engine, that doesn't count as a delay. No matter, and some people might say otherwise, but a delay for a game, in the gaming industry at the very least, it's not like building a bridge. A game's delay, for it to be delayed, it has, a year at the very least has to be given. Kingdom Hearts 3 didn't get a release year until last year. That's the great thing about Square. They don't give us a release window until they are damn certain. When not when one person up here, or some people down there, when the entire team has to consistently agree where they are at, and that's how Square works. They were certain, and clearly they are correct. We've seen the proof. Kingdom Hearts 3 has the proof that it's coming out this year. Games that from other companies with Nintendo and Zelda Breath of the Wild, Atlas and Persona 5, they keep giving years, but they don't know what they're doing in terms of... They don't know how to do that. Square, they take their time, but they never make false promises. That's something that's always underappreciated about them.
In all the years that we've gotten Kingdom Hearts games, they were late on one game.
Yeah, and that only happened because
it was not their fault.
That was because of Final Fantasy 15 wanting a day one patch, which I don't think I call bull on that, because when we put it in, it was something was downloading. So, nah.
Yeah,
there was something. There was another reason.
But yeah, I don't know. I've always been more worried about the 7 remake than Kingdom Hearts 3.
Definitely. That's because that's going to take more time. I hope they go back on the whole episodic thing. Just make it the whole, like, give them the time.
See, I don't know if they're going to be for this reason. See what's happening with 15 and all these episodes coming out. I think Final Fantasy as a genre, not a genre as a.
But the thing, dividing an RPG into parts, like.
But the first game, the original game is divided into parts. It's just you have all the parts.
Yeah.
Right. It's on disc. So remember, Final Fantasy VII is long. It's a long game. It's not short by any, and just the story is long. If you want to do everything that you can in the original game, you're talking about 90 hours, 100 hours. Like, it really not for anybody who's played Final Fantasy VII. It's a lot.
It is long.
So, I get the breaking it up. I think, and I could be wrong about this. Seeing where Final Fantasy 15 is going, where now they're going to release chapters for everybody, and then you're going to get an alternate ending to the game, which is going to be theoretically happier than the true ending, quote unquote. I could see them moving Final Fantasy into a area like this is where they're going to take the brand. Is you're not going to get one game anymore. You're going to get a game, and then you're going to have to build on top of that game. It might piss a lot of people off because people hate stuff like that. But I could see them doing it just because it would make the development time a little bit easier on the developers, and also they can put more story in.
The advantage to it is, as they develop the other parts of the game, they can get feedback to the parts of the game that are already out, so they can improve upon the later parts.
Exactly. Like Final Fantasy 15
has
a bunch of things.
That's the advantage of doing a part by part.
What did I just play in Final Fantasy? I'm still so behind. I beat the main story, and that main story was great. I don't care what anybody says. That was really enjoyable. Some things are better.
I definitely think. I mean, unlike game titles like Duke Nukem Forever, like Final Fantasy 15 definitely was in development hell, but it was in the kind of development hell that was. It was like on and off because Nomura and everyone else. They had the other Kingdom Hearts titles to work on. They had other Final Fantasy titles to work on. They had a lot of stuff to work on. So Final Fantasy 15, or when it was Versus 13, they had to keep going on and off with it.
Right.
And then it wasn't until like the later parts of its development cycle that the majority of the work was done. So it's not like it was 10 years straight. It was, it was pretty scattered for the first half of those 10 years.
Yeah.
But the thing with development, like in the case of in a development hell, what can happen, like in the case of Duke Nukem Forever, or titles like that, which thank God I never played titles like that. When you have like those ridiculously long development times, the more development time it's not necessarily makes a better game. Not after a certain extent. Like I say, the maximum should be 6 years. Anything more than that, and you're gonna get an unfocused mess. Even, and you might disagree, but I would argue even like Final Fantasy 15 came out mostly unscathed. But I think there were some elements that this game was in a bit of development hell.
Oh no, the
primary part was the car mechanics. I don't like the car mechanics. I hate how you either have to sit through a loading screen, which that's unavoidable. That's unavoidable, but having to either sit through that or sit through a car ride and wait until you can get back to the gameplay, that was ridiculous to me.
I'm weird. I would rather be in the car with characters.
Then you can get chocobos.
Right.
I think the next Final Fantasy you should stop this whole modern nonsense and look at when you look at Breath of the Wild, have a fantasy world. Don't put in cars. Don't put in this modern stuff.
Oh,
have ride animals.
They gotta bounce back and forth.
Yeah, do like Final Fantasy 9 did. Like you had 7, 8. They were very sci-fi. Then Final Fantasy 9 was more fantasy style, like more traditional fantasy.
Right.
So I would see maybe something like that.
Yeah, I could see.
I would like that. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I like Final Fantasy 15. I don't think it's a perfect game. I think it gets a lot of flack for not very much reason. Like, I don't, like, I feel like
only real issue is that it's the last game to be made with like the Luminous engine, and that engine had so many problems.
Right.
I think the only complaint I have with like the way on like that's like the art style. It's mainly the art style. It like you have and I love Nomura's character designs. I love the hair. The hair is great, but when you have like with Kingdom Hearts has like this proper balance between exaggeration and realism. I think Final Fantasy 15 goes a bit into the uncanny with that, because you have these realistic looking bodies, but you have this exaggerated hair, and it doesn't clash terribly, but it clashes a little weird. So I think, and when you look at like, World of Final Fantasy, you have, it's that balance. It's kind of animated, but kind of realistic looking. That's, with like Kingdom Hearts and even like Final Fantasy X, they struck the balance where it wouldn't be uncanny. And I think, like, they need to... And even, like, in the Final Fantasy VII Remake trailer in 2015, I mean, like, it was very realistic looking, but there was enough exaggeration to the characters where, like, yeah, like, their hairstyles are a little up there, but, like, their bodies are exaggerated enough and the settings exaggerated, and, like, you can go with it much easier than Final Fantasy 15, where, like, even like I think that's not necessarily the look. I think that's partially the engine's fault. Because even like you saw in Final Fantasy 13 trilogy and you saw in Final Fantasy 15, like the character movements, even like mainly for NPCs, but like when characters have their idle animations, they're very jagged. It's like you're a video game character that's trying to. It looks like video game characters trying to watch you idle around like normal people, where you feel like this. So you're like that. And, like, I mean, like, games like Uncharted, I think, because they're more, like, visual, Final Fantasy 15 is an RPG, so they can only do so much. But, like, games that are more, they're more cinematic, like Uncharted, like, they're better at, because that's, like, the stuff.
I will say this, the thing that, because, I'm still doing it now, one thing that maybe annoys me about Final Fantasy 15, all of the side quests are fine, they're fun to do.
They're fetch quests.
But I don't mind fetch quests. I feel like
But they're mostly fetch quests.
Yeah, but again, I don't mind fetch quests. I feel like you don't get enough reward for doing them.
Yeah.
Is the problem.
You go find a couple of red frogs in a lake, and you really don't get anything for it.
Right.
I think Breath of the Wild with its side quests had the same problem. Like, you do these side quests, but you get little cuisines and maybe a couple of rupees. Like, I think that's a big problem I've noticed in a lot of modern RPGs, where like the side quests, the rewards aren't really worth the time and effort.
Yeah, like
I noticed that across the board.
Like and I still haven't finished the last sword, but like the quests to get all the weapons in Final Fantasy 15 are really fun.
Those are good
because they're like dungeon quests.
And then there's like that one where like the bats and like it jump.
Oh yeah, you gotta go
hell
through.
Out of us.
Yeah. That was bad. I had nightmares at night. What are you doing, Nomura?
I think Nomura wants to make horror games. He wants to make mech games.
I'm telling you something. If I'm playing Kingdom Hearts 3 and there's a jump scare in there, I will at you on Twitter. I don't want any jump scares while I'm playing Kingdom Hearts. That's because my defenses are going to be low. It's going to be a Disney game, and I know you're going to get me. I know it's going to happen because I can see it already with even just the running around in the rain and how like real it looks. I could see it scaring me. Easy. I'm easy to scare at in that kind of environment. What else? Anything else? What's coming up? I mean, besides we have E3 coming up. That's pretty much it, right? So you're doing a whole slew of. We're
streaming those 7. Again, I'm not interested in streaming. Like, I'm not interested in streaming EA, but it is one of the actual main ones. I'm not streaming the PC gaming show. That to me is not even a conference. That doesn't count. It doesn't count at all. Yeah, but we're like the 7 main ones: EA, Microsoft, Bethesda, Square, Ubisoft, Sony, Nintendo. We're streaming all of them. He won't be here for all of them.
Yeah, well, work.
So. He'll be here for EA, Microsoft, Bethesda, and Sony.
I'll enjoy some of those.
And, I intend to, start all of the streams right, before, 15 to 30 minutes, so for, the Sony one, we'll have, a good 30 minutes before it starts, and we'll talk about, the stuff that happens in the other two.
I'll try and be involved for, when is the square one is the middle of the day, right?
The square one starts at...
Wasn't one or
starts
two?
At 1.
Yeah.
It's 1.
So I usually I'm at lunch. I work at 1, so I'll be watching it. And if I can watch the stream, I might chime in, but that's all I can do. I need to work. I got Power Morphicon coming up in August. I need the money.
Yeah.
I was checking all my.
He's going to that.
I'm checking all my funds today.
I would have loved to go to E3, but we can't do that. So this is kind of this is what we're doing instead, just to because since we can't go, we're gonna.
Well, I got Morphicon this year, and then we have to buy 85 million games apparently. So.
Yeah, I think I would probably I could say we could maybe aim for 2020.
Yeah,
maybe we could try it in 2020.
It's doable.
Because that might be when they reveal the next gen, so that would be a good time to go. So we'll see about that.
I'm done.
We're an hour and a half in, so I think we're gonna end it here.
I've hit my limits.
Yeah,
sorry all. It's been a long day.
Yeah, if there were 1,000 people watching this, maybe we'd go longer, but it's gonna be probably 19, maybe 30 at the most.
No,
so,
but it was good. It was good talking.
Yeah, and I think we're definitely gonna make this a regular thing. Maybe we'll get John and Joe in on future episodes when they have their time.
It's possible.
Yeah.
As for me, if anybody's watching this from my Twitter, you know that I do my live streams for Super Sentai and Kamen Rider. Been doing toy reviews. So the next one for that is going to be end of June when the X stuff comes out for Lupin Ranger Pato Ranger. And then, believe it or not, July is going to be the 4th quarter catalog for Lupin Pato, and the new Kamen Rider will be officially revealed. So that'll be a thing. The year goes fast, and then we're in the fall, and then I'm
glad this year's going fast because of that. Because I want to get to that as soon as possible.
There's a lot of things. There's so
much to do that.
So I guess just follow me on Twitter at the Real Man Hunt. We do all rumor things.
Before we go, so what do you want to do for our next show?
Our next show. Let's see what's coming up. Well, I mean,
we're gonna do other than
I don't know.
Ooh, actually, I have an idea. Why don't we talk about the resurgence in all the animated shows, like how Hey Arnold, Samurai Jack,
we can talk about
shows we'd like to come back. I think that'd be a good episode.
Yeah, I feel like all the shows that I used to watch were like shows.
Vader Zim
coming back. That's a good topic. Even the anime stuff.
And shows we'd love to come back.
Yeah, for sure.
And from here or from Japan, we could talk. That could make a good show.
Yeah, sounds good. I'm interested in that.
All right. So that's episode. That'll be episode 3 of the Roundtable.
Later.
So stay tuned for that. All right. I've been Steven. He's been Matt. We will be seeing you on the next Roundtable. Have a good one, guys.
Take care.